Alright, so for the first game of the WCS Championship, this is of course the round of 16, so there's quite a few games that have already happened before this. It started off with a round of 80, which I'm not going to be doing because there are simply too many games to do that on stream, but I will probably do it to my YouTube channel later on. So on the top right hand side here, we've got ourselves Elazer, who is currently on Team QLASH. His name is Mikołaj Ogonowski, I think that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, 20 years old, and he is from Poland. So on his first game here in round of 16, obviously made it through the previous games. His opponent is Nice. Nice is on, it says clan BearMe. I don't know if that's a typo or if that's how it should be. But his name is Huang Shiang. His age is actually unspecified on the Team Liquid wiki page, which is a bit odd. He looks like he's probably in his early 20s, so I can imagine he's probably about 20 years old, 2021. That seems to be where a lot of the pro Asian players, play around, in the top of their career. He's from Taiwan, and yeah, so not a Korean, but yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. So, Blackpink, sorry, is the map that we've got here. We've got ourselves a fairly safe expansion coming out here from Nice, building up the gateway at his natural expansion to start to block off against the Elazer, just in case anything is going to be happening here. The Nexus is coming down with it as well. Probably going to start a bit of a block here just so he can have possibly an Adept sitting to block off any sort of rush, which would be of course quite standard for players to do. Now he does see that Elazer has got himself a hatchery. First, I'm going to quickly have a look to see what Nice sees. He did see the timing of the hatchery, which would of course make perfect sense, and he's just going to sit around here, see what's coming out, just in case there's going to be some sneaky Zerglings making their way down to the natural expansion. Now he opted to go for a cybernetic score, which makes perfect sense. Gonna be pumping out a few adepts right after that comes out. Now he is chrono boosting that adept as well to get it out as soon as possible. No full block off here yet, so a few Zerglings could do a bit of damage, but I think that he should be fine given the fact that he sees the timing of these Zerglings quite perfectly. Now, the Zerglings have decided to back off. They're probably aware that Adepts are going to be on the way, seeing as this was of course spotted by the Overlord. Warp Gate technology is on the way also, more Adepts being warped in. So let's see what he's going to do with this Adept. One Adept, keep in mind, will not do very significant damage unless of course completely left unattended in the base. So I think he should be perfectly fine holding off against that with just one Queen. It would be quite nice if he manages to get one or two drones with it, of course, just to pay off the cost of that. But I think he's going to cancel that because of the Zerglings, of course. Just going to do a quick scout and back on out. Now, there's nothing to deal with this Overlord yet, so for now, Elazer is able to quite freely scout out the base, see exactly what's going on. The block only happening now, potentially seeing something coming. No, he doesn't see anything coming yet. But there we go, he's gotten himself a Phoenix to deal with this Overlord just to prevent the scouting. So I suppose because the Phoenix is out, he already knows that there is a gateway up, and the gateway is of course quite standard these days. Not considered anything funny to be playing in your normal builds. So third base is now completing for Elazer, obviously playing the true Zerg style where he wants to stay a little bit ahead of his opponent in terms of bases. Now these Adepts are going to get surrounded here. Will they put up another Psionic Shift just to get out of there? One gets taken out, second one also drops, and with them takes 3 drones. Not fully paying for themselves, but it does cause a small bit of economic advantage for him. Now the Oracle is going to come in here. Let's see what it manages to kill off. Of course the Spore Crawler is already in position waiting for that just to prevent any massive harassment that the Oracle can freely do. And the Queen's perfectly following it just to prevent it from regenerating shields, and of course the more health and shields that it has, the more freely it can risk harassment with Spore Crawlers in the air or on the ground. Now he's going to need to back that off a little bit just to kind of stay out of trouble here. By the way, this is of course the brand new patch that came out. It's pretty much all the up-to-date balance changes. So we are in what you'd see in typical ladder games these days. Now getting these adepts caught so close to his own base, not a great catch, but he does have 3 here. Should definitely be able to hold off against this amount of Zerglings. I think at the moment he's not too pushed about Nice's progress here. He sees that there is no Nexus yet, but he suspects that because the Adepts are sitting around there, probably expecting that Nexus to be coming down any moment. Now, as soon as he sees a Nexus coming down, he's probably going to start thinking about either punishing that Nexus or else thinking about expanding himself. Now, because he is not building any drones at this point, he's only got 7 out of 16 drones here. I think that he might actually be thinking about punishing that Nexus instead. Now, this drop, what did that have in it? 4 Adepts, gonna possibly drop them into the main or the first natural. Most likely the main, given the fact that there's lots of Queens and now Hydralisks in the air, on the ground too. Now, 1 free drone probe pickoff. Doesn't quite manage to get another one yet. Now the army supply for Elazer is absolutely massive in comparison to Nice. What Nice really needs to do right now is hold off up until the point that Colossus comes out with the extended thermal lances. That's kind of hard to say actually, especially with a sore throat, but let's see what these Adepts are doing. They did manage to take out 5 drones already. I did miss the start of that engagement, but they will get cleaned off now at this point. 6 drones is the complete loss. I think it's quite okay considering he is at the same time forcing Elazer to come back with his very, very aggressive army. So as you can see here, 78 to 42 army supply. It is quite significant in terms of numbers, especially that Elazer is just continuously reinforcing this with more and more units. As you can see, lots of Zerglings being created, a few more Hydralisks, and this is going to be all about the control of Nice's Colossi. All of these units are very vulnerable to Colossi attack, but the question is, will he manage to get a few good force fields to separate the armies out, take out a few crucial units around the back, and at that point be able to clean this up, or will he get rushed down with the massive army increase of Elazer? Now this is not looking good, and the Colossus drops pretty much immediately, and this is looking very, very painful right now for Nice. Now another Colossus is up here. Will he manage to snipe that one off as well? It does look like he's controlling it quite nicely just to keep it back and safe. Now there's a lot of Hydralisks here. This is absolutely scary to be looking at as a Protoss player when you've got Hydralisks absolutely pouring into your base, taking out that Colossus, and I think there isn't a whole lot that Nice can do at this point. GG has been called, and game number 1 goes for Elazer in this first best of 5 series from the round of 16. Wow, that was a perfect read from Elazer. I think he did really well here to actually punish that Nexus rather than expanding himself. So obviously his choices were do I build a second expansion, or do I... Sorry, this would have been his fort base. Does he build a fort base, or does he punish this and build a massive army? So he obviously saw what was happening here and decided to go all in with it, and it paid off. So first game goes to Elazer.